Welcome to Creekside Chats with Successful Real Estate Investors, brought to you by Steve Talker Capital, promoting prosperity and harmony to help you flourish in all areas of life. Join in as we explore the motivations and goals of real estate investors and how their ability to invest abundantly has provided them with the time and freedom to contribute to the world in a creative and thoughtful way. Now please welcome your host, Dr. Allen.
Today's guest, after only her first year in real estate investing, successfully raised $70 million in assets and thus found her calling as a capital raiser. Huffington Post Journal recognized her as an inspirational and revolutionary real estate investor. She is co-author of the book, You Got This. Welcome back to the show, Jennifer Maldonado.
Hi, Alan. Thank you for having me back.
Give us the details on how you discovered that, I can raise capital.
One of the most important things, Alan, for me was to understand the skills that I had. I knew that I didn't have an idea about real estate and I have a very long path to go through. But what I did have, and that's one of the things that allows me to be successful in many areas, is I always focus on what I have at that moment. Was I knew people, and I knew people with money, and I spent a lot of time networking, trying to find out what I call the group that I really matched with or aligned with, that we were sharing the same values, the same commitments, the same kind of do business. And what happened is, as I started investing in real estate, I just shared with people what I was doing and what was my commitment toward this investment. And when they heard about what I wanted to do, they knew me as a person. So it was a relationship base. And that was one of my skills. I always focus on developing other people, developing relationship, creating a community, allow me to meet a lot of wonderful people who were very successful in their lives, and they believe in me, they believe in the passion of the things that I was doing. And at the same time, I surrounded myself with amazing operators and amazing, extraordinary performers in regards to executing deals. And that's one of the things that make a huge difference. So if you ask me what contributed to that success, was the community that I was able to build by just being me, by being willing to learn, by being willing to share the wealth, understanding that this was about raising our success as a community and not only fulfilling my pockets. And people knew that I was very authentic about that. And what happened is, once I did the first short-term deal, it was a 6-month deal, which we finished in 3. People got their first check, they got their money back, their interest, and they were very excited. And guess what happened? They brought their friends, and the friends brought their friends. And suddenly I have this community of investors that they knew that Jen was there for the right reasons. And I heard these comments the other day when one of the girls introduced me to one of her cousins that say, oh yeah, anything that Jennifer touches turn into gold. And at the same time, I blush and I feel honored, because it just tell me how much these people trust me, relate to me. And of course, I always make sure that the due diligence in there, because this is investment. Things can go wrong. But the fact that she has that faith in me, I have to tell you, Alan, that told me I am doing the right thing. And that's why I grew so fast, and not because it was my only success, but because I was willing to share the success with the people surrounding me. And that made all the difference.
You knew wealthy people even before you left the corporate world, but did you have any real estate connections?
No, in fact, the wealthy people that I met before I got into real estate fully is just people that was working with me in engineering. And they told me, oh yeah, I have a couple of real estate investments. It's not like I have this group right away. It took me 2 years when I got into real estate. In 2012 is when I really started. And then it took me a year to meet all of these people. But my focus, it was so interesting, because my focus was, I was asking God and the universe to present to me people who really wanted to grow their wealth and have the right beliefs that aligns with me, the integrity, the values that really were important for me. Did I knew these people? No, I make it a goal to make connections with wealthy people, not only in the money side, but as a human being. Because there's a lot of wealthy people. I know a lot of wealthy people out there that they're miserable. And honestly, there's some of them that I fired them as my partners investing because I could not handle certain situations. I'm a person that I left corporate America because I wanted to choose the people that I work with. And those people must align with the values. Yes, all of us want to make money. Why not? It's business. But if you don't have the heart in the right place and you don't know how to treat other people just because money is the only thing that matters to you, then that people sometimes find me a little bit shocking because I'm pretty open and my thoughts flow. I'm very respectful. My parents show me how to be very respectful, but I cannot not be authentic. And if I don't like something, it was very difficult for me to hide it. My expressions tell everything. But do I knew these people? I knew them as I was focusing, and I met them as I was focusing to have them on my life, to grow that community of people who wanted to be successful or wanted to help other people be successful, because that was the case too.
So part of the folks you look for on the team are people who are not just incidentally helping other people, but they are intentionally helping other people.
Yes, definitely. Intentions are really critical for me because that's one of the things that I always strive to do, is to become someone that live a powerful and intentional life. And it's something that I practice, and it's something that I try to build that community, or I build those communities where people live with their intentions are very powerful in your actions and your thoughts and your beliefs. And when you have clear intentions, Alan, you can't deviate. And if you're deviating right away, you can identify that the path that you might be taking is not the intention on how you want to develop your life. So that's the kind of people I want to bring to my life, and the kind of message I want to put there to my community, to my partners. So I do believe in investing with intention. And yes, intention of making money, and yes, intention of making a difference, even if it's for their families. But that's one of the values I want the people to have when they're working with me, being very clear on their intentions.
Give us some specifics how it is that you went about developing not just the capital connections, but the total aspect of that real estate community.
Yeah, definitely. The first year, I spent 3 or 4 days a week networking. I will go to every real estate investment club, and quickly I learned the people that I wanted to talk to and the people that they didn't have a clear path. And what I did is I separate them in different groups. I keep the communication with them. And for the ones that didn't have a clear path, I help them. If I knew or learned something that can help them, I put that seed for them. So I was looking to contribute, even if it was a little thing, even if it was a simple thing as a resource, a contact, an email introduction, a Facebook introduction. That for me was a giving back without expecting anything back. That was one of the things I wanted to do. And then for the other group that they were a little bit more seasoned, more experienced, or have more clear intentions, I decided to go with them and learn from them and contribute the little things that I could at that moment. Even resources, connections again, a little bit of knowledge, a deal that I heard about, a lender. So it became about me giving first. And what I noticed is that I did that without intention. I did it without intention, but suddenly I'm receiving back all of those people that wanted to connect with me, that heard about me. And I'm like, I am barely on my second deal. How is this happening? So during that first year, I decided that I wanted to give where I was. I just wasn't doing it with any other intention. Now, my second year, I wanted to create a community that we could come and talk about all the things that we don't talk in a normal club of real estate club. And that's when I met my partner. That's how we become the founders of the Women Real Estate Network. 3 years, we decide to open the first chapter. And as I'm building that community of women that decide to learn from each other, what happened is I start also networking with other people outside of real estate, people, lawyers. Some of my biggest investors are lawyers, family offices. So I have developed those relationships with family offices, business analysts, that they understand how to do the business and I can talk their language. Those were the biggest monies for me. But at least that I was doing projects over the 10 millions, they won't be interested. So that became, okay, this is my big pocket. And this is the other people that they have X amount of money that they want to invest with me, or they want to learn something. And when they had that, guess what? I will know a specific mentor on my community that they will invest with them, teach them while both of them were making money. So it became a given thing. Building a community became like a mission of, it was always my mission, always building those communities. So I will say that I started by giving first without expecting anything back. And somehow suddenly I was planting the seeds of a full forest. And now I think I have been blessed with that just by doing those simple things, little things that sometimes we consider they're little. And sometimes it wasn't even related, Alan, to real estate. It was related to other details. I knew that if I have a resource and they needed help, I would just send that text message, contact this person. I know they're going to help you. And I think that's how the community grew so fast too. And now we are at 7 chapters. We just opened recently our other chapter for rent too during these times in Vegas.
The question I have is, where did it come from that you had an understanding that, yes, I could help here in this environment where I really don't know anything?
Oh, that touched my heart right away. My parents were very hardworking. My mom was a nurse and my dad was a police officer. During the struggling times, they always put us together. My brothers and I will be like by ourselves in our house while my parents were out there trying to help other people. In the emergencies, being grown in a country like Puerto Rico, we had a lot of hurricanes. So sometimes my mom was on the phone for 2 hours just to make sure we were okay until she got an emergency call. And I got this seed from my parents. They taught me how to serve to people, how to give without expecting anything back. Even when people were screaming at them, mad at them, they always have this heart that was about service. And that right there drive me not only to service people, but to understand that every challenge will have a solution. We might not have all the resources to figure out where we are right now, but if we talk to enough people, we might find that one idea that will help us solve the situation. So my parents didn't have money. My parents were very traditional. You go to school, you get a degree, and you have a safe job. And for me, leaving that safe job was very heartbreaking for them because that's what they knew. And at the same time, I knew that there were other options and that I wanted to live a different life, but I wanted to get what they taught me, get it with me, and implement that in whatever I was doing. So that came from my parents. I think that was the biggest gift they gave me.
Talk to us about REN, the organization itself, how it came together, and what it is that REN does for women in business.
Yeah, definitely. I went to a network event with one of our girlfriends, and I happened to meet the founder of the Women Real Estate Network. She didn't have anything together, but I told her that I wanted to connect with other women in real estate too and help in building a community. And suddenly she invited a few women to a lunch. And there was mimosas, there were wine, and of course that make us very bright, and the use of mats and resources. So we enjoy each other, and it was really fun. And at the same time, during that conversation, what happened is there was a lot of people just exchanging resources, ideas, and challenging each other. And we start meeting every month for almost a year. And then I decided to start inviting some of the women that were not that experienced, because this group was very experienced. And as I started inviting these women that were not very experienced, Alan, Deborah and I, as a founder, Deborah and I started talking about these other group of women that they needed role models, women that show them that they can do it too, and that can hold the hands once in a while, that can give them information or inspiration for that one idea that can change their lives. And what ended happening is we have the conversation, and I told Deborah I will take charge of that. And I started the first chapter in Los Angeles, California, and I invite multiple women that I knew, and I did 100 invites, and 20 women show up to this specific spa that I just, I was reached by them because we barely started the group, and they're like, do you want to host this event here? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Because the idea was to support not only women in real estate, but other women in business. So they saw that there was this community that, yes, we focus on real estate, but we are here for each other. And what ended happening is we start having a lot of women reaching to us and telling us, hey, can you host an event on my location? Can you host an event on my location? And some of those women who were the business owners, some of them are my investors. They ended partnering up with me because they knew that we have the knowledge to help them out. So it became that place that, yes, we meet with each other. Yes, we talk about real estate. We talk about families. We talk about what we do when we're mothers, daughters, grandmothers. We have kids, and we have to handle all of that plus the business. So it became a place that our mission was to help women grow personally and professionally. And what has happened is our community has been challenged not only in the real estate world, where we bring ideas and we challenge our community to go to the next level, but also our leaders, they're being challenged every day with new things on how to grow their business or how to pivot. And even during these times, our community has become even bigger because we have been together more online. Now we can connect nationally. We have national events. So we pivot from what was happening to how can we do this so we still connected. And that has opened doors to a lot of women. Their stories, like there's this beautician, I love her to death. She was one of those women that one day show up because she has inheritance from her husband and she didn't even have an idea what to do with her reels. And she went to one of our events. Second thing, she's offering where she used to work, which was a beauty salon. And after that, she ended acquiring portfolios of real estate. And all of these happened in a matter of 2 years. And seeing that growth and see her personal success too, because now she remarried again. It's been beautiful. But those are the kind of stories, Alan, that drive us. Those stories of the women that, hey, I did my first deal. Hey, I got my first $1 million deal. Oh, I start with a little portfolio and now I can leave my job and focus on real estate. That has been the story. That's what's happening with Ren. It started with a lunch with a bunch of women that wanted to get together and connect. And it has become a place that we build what we call a nest. And nest stands for networking, for education, for skills development and transformation. So we built if you look at our Ren little thing, it's a birdie. We call it like the little birdie, we call it our nest. And what we want to see is our women going out there and flying in the world and becoming these rock stars in real estate. But that has been happening. That's what has been happening with Ren.
You were bringing women together to talk about things that were not normally talked about in real estate networking. It may be none of my business, but what is it you were talking about?
You're not the first one that asked me that. All my friends wanted to go, and I'm like, if you wear a wig and a skirt, I'm okay with it, and you will find out what we talk about. No, but just to give you a little bit about that, yes, we talk about life balance, right? Because normally in the men's world, they're not very worried about, we have to pick up the kids, we have to take care of mom, we have to take care of that, because that's a role that normally the women has taken over. How do you do that? Or how do you deal with when you have to remind in a negotiation that you don't come with the deal? How to do it, how to work with men, and how to deal with challenging situations that can become very uncomfortable. How do you redirect those efforts, and how do you tap into your feminine energy to really bring the best out of your deals? Because at the end, there's a feminine energy in us. Some have masculine energy. That's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that physically we look like a woman, there are certain challenges that will come with culture, with genders, with personal preferences. And those challenges, how do you handle those challenges to have those conversations, to redirect the business and make sure that we keep healthy relationships in business? So those are some of the conversations. We talk about simple things like where do we get the best deal and discounts. That's something that comes. But it's those conversations that we have that it requires a lot of insight in order to transform the way that we do business. And it's the same way, the way that men work with women, because it goes both ways. But those are some of the topics. Yeah.
It's been a delight, Jen, and I thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Alan, for having me. Always a pleasure. Thank you for doing what you do and for sharing with people how they can shift their lives and focus not only in the wealthy side of building money, of bringing money to your life, but how to keep yourself and how to keep your life fulfilled. So thank you, Alan, for putting this together. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you for joining us on Creekside Chats with Successful Real Estate Investors, brought to you by Steed Talker Capital. For more information, as well as access to our free ebook on enhancing your well-being through real estate investing, be sure to connect with us at steedtalker.com. As part of our efforts to make the world a better place, Steed Talker Capital contributes to activities and organizations committed to better understand the equine and enhance the humane treatment of horses worldwide. Steed Talker Capital, working for a world where all creatures, great and small, flourish abundantly. Connect with us at steedtalker.com.